Hello everyone, my name is Kelvin Ramos and my presentation is going to be on self. So to give you a couple of ideas to portray the person I am, I'm a college student. I graduated from Long Beach City College with 3 associate's degrees, and in the past I would kind of look down on myself for spending so much time in City College, but now that I've finished those milestones, I really do enjoy it and I'm appreciative of the effort that I made. I'm Hispanic. I am a churchgoer. I'm an activist in my church. I play piano. Um, I'm into fish husbandry. I take care of my fish. And yeah, I'm all about family. So I would say I have a high self esteem, high sense of self worth, and self efficacy. I believe that whenever I make a goal, I can achieve it, but it hasn't always been that way in the past. I would engage in something called downward comparison to kind of justify the situation that I was in. And there was a couple of occurrences that happened in my life that kind of got me to where I am to think a little bit more clearly. So, for one of the real world examples I want to talk about is a current event that's occurring. Today is March 20th, a Monday. Tomorrow, President Trump, I should say ex President Trump, might be indicted on the case that happened in Mar a Lago where he took some files to his home. So, his perception of self in that sense was he was a president at the time and he was above the law and he can override any decisions that the government made, and he didn't really see himself as a criminal to be storing these precious documents in his home in Mar-a-Lago. But now that things have come to light about how sensitive those documents were, what ultimately ends up happening is people are going to be looking at him a little bit differently, as if they can no longer trust him. They can't confide in him running a government because, you know, he's sketchy or whatnot. But that's one of the current events. So obviously, people are going to be able to identify us and have a concept of us based off of impressions, the way we dress, the way we smell, the way we walk, how we present ourselves in our speech, um, our eye contact. And everybody knows that Donald Trump was a very confident guy. He's made a lot of money, and that's not all there is in life. Money, uh, something that pairs with someone in leadership is going to be someone who has a good moral ground, a good moral standing, someone that can be trustworthy, especially when you're running an entire country. They have the nuclear codes and whatnot, so someone in power like that should definitely be someone who has some reserve so that they, are not engaging in conflict and initiating war with people everywhere in the world. But when tomorrow comes, we're going to find out if he ends up getting indicted. And one of my personal experiences that has actually changed my life is a time that I got arrested for getting into a fight. Before getting into that fight, now that I reflect on it, I realized that I may have been dealing with a lot of anger issues, and this is something that definitely relates to social psychology, because a lot of people, they may have areas in their life where they may fall short, um, and they may have some level of discomfort that ends up making them or causing them to make bad decisions. And I got into a fight. Someone uh, initiated it. They threatened me, but I landed the first punch. I ended up breaking the guy's nose, and it landed me in a whole lot of trouble. At the time, I was going to be facing 5 to 7 years. And in my defense, I was trying to defend myself, and I did get a concussion from the guy choking me and slamming me on the ground. This was a life changing event for me. Turned my life around 180. I had to become financially responsible to pay this guy's restitution, which was $22,450. And I worked my butt off to pay that and be responsible. But it definitely affected my self esteem because at the time I was going door to door. I was just a student. I haven't I had not graduated yet, so I had a lot on the line that I could have possibly lose or have lost. But luckily, today, um, I've changed my job. I'm now an ABA therapist. I paid all my dues. I am now a free man. My record was expunged, but just to just to be labeled a felon at the time definitely was heartbreaking for me and my family. And it was like something hanging. It was like a cloud hanging over my head every day. It just felt like doom and gloom. Um, yeah, I was on probation. I had to go work at a graveyard and do hard physical labor. And to some certain extent, it didn't seem fair, you know. Um, and when I stood before the judge, there was a bit of a halo effect. The judge would look at me and see that I was a college student. I presented my transcripts, so there was some form of generalization, and there was impression formation. The judge saw that I was a student. I wasn't out there looking for trouble. It was my first time committing a crime, so this is something that didn't really define me. It wasn't premeditated. It's just some where I reacted, but that one moment definitely changed my life. And if I can go back to that day, you know, I I wouldn't have been behaving in such a way or reacting in such a way, uh, knowing that I have a lot on the line. And an image I would like to share with you guys is the iceberg effect, some sort of theory. So here it is. At the top here we have our personal ethics, we have character ethics, and at the bottom we have emotional level. So my emotions were really high. I was reacting out of fear, at an adrenaline rush, you know. And when the cops came, um, the guy had more physical damage to himself than I did. So, but I've dealt with that. And I no longer label myself a felon. I more so label myself a college graduate, someone who's hardworking and responsible. But that one incident definitely shifted my mind, and many events followed after that. One of the events that I see in the media is Andrew Tate. As many people may know who this individual is, he's being um, held in Romania, and he's being um, they're saying that he was a sex trafficker, that he was holding women hostage, and quite frankly, I don't believe it until I see the evidence. There hasn't been much evidence uh, that has been shown in social media, but I know that Dubai, the president of Dubai, is going to be meeting with the president of Romania. This is a really high value individual. He's a very rich man. He's very influential. At some point, he was the most Googled man. But a lot of times, people will do things and make false allegations towards us to see us fall. A lot of it could be envy or hatred, but we have to make sure that we um, maintain a sense of self, because we know who we are more than anyone else. We spend a lot of time alone, we also critique ourselves, and we know where it is we fall short and how we can better ourselves and how we can better interact. So at the end of this all, something that I've really changed to have a better impression formation is dressing better. I'm always dressing nice. I want to portray myself as someone that is non-threatening. And now that I have been rehabilitated and I've done my anger management, I definitely have a toolbox of ways to cope with things and not react in such a hostile way. So yeah, that's my presentation. I really appreciate you guys for listening. And my name's Kelvin Ramos, Hispanic male college graduate. Thank you.